Dang, it's tight up here. First of all, thank you. I appreciate everything that's been said today. And I appreciate Esther and Jerry. Thank you.
Don't applaud their hard work. There isn't any.
We're applauding from the vortex. I'm a child of God, and I've been destined to that spirit of creation. Yet the question I have this day is, as I am I, what is we? That I and we are the same, but when it comes to this governing of the vortex, I walk amongst the world and I see something, or somebody attracts in something, or I attract in something that causes harm. Okay, now
that either causes harm or disallows the well-being that would be there.
Right, that's already there, but then how do we, as a group, handle these eyes that we've attracted that into our culture. I feel that we've been so backwards as far as we haven't made a lot of decisions from the vortex. Some have been made, but a lot of decisions have been made outside of the vortex. So when we deal with somebody that's killed somebody, or has stolen, or has been outside of the vortex.
Well, we'll go there. So hold that spot,
Okay.
And if we don't go there, bring us back there, because we want to answer that question specifically.
Okay.
But we want to start by saying, wouldn't it be nice if before he became a killer,
Right.
he was given a little leeway? Wouldn't it have been nice if when he was in his disempowered, depressed, lacking of freedom feeling, wouldn't it have been nice if he could have made his way into anger, and then into less anger, and then into hope, and then into love? But society, who misunderstands the vibrational nature, evaluates people by their behavior right now, and when they see a behavior that they don't approve of, when he was 5 in school, and when he was 10 in school, and when he was 20 on the streets, as they see his behavior and then condemn his behavior, they don't allow him to move from depression into anger, into less anger. He then moves into revenge because it's natural, it's on the way up the emotional scale, but then he is forced back into his depression. In other words, a relaxing and a calling of one forward. Really, if you really want to know how to help someone who's really out of the vortex, so far out of the vortex that they are flailing about and doing harm to others because that's the thing that is the closest vibrational match to how they feel. If you really want to know what to do for them, behold them, give your attention to them, and in your seeing them as they are, and in your abhorrence of their behavior, feel what you do want rocketing out of you, and then give your undivided attention to what you do want. In other words, if you are looking at someone so out of the vortex that they are flailing about and even hurting others, the thing that's interesting, if you saw someone in the street bleeding, we think you would stop and help them. But when you see one with wielding a gun or mistreating others, then you don't want to help them. You tend to want to pile on. And there's something so vibrationally out of whack with that, you see. Right. Because someone out of vibrational sync with who they are is in much more need of alignment than someone bleeding in the street. They could really use a hand up, but a hand up would mean seeing them as they are and holding the picture of who they really are so powerfully that through your power of influence, as we said earlier, when you are in alignment with how the source within you is seeing something, then you are offering a signal of influence that then can make someone see themselves as they want to be seen, or better said, as they really are. Such an interesting thing, because we'll speak of society as if society is a person, but follow through with this just a little bit. So you see something abhorrent, and you wince when you see it. But even amidst that wincing, you are putting an improved version of that very thing into your vortex, and the universe has expanded. That which you're calling God became more just then. And if you could then, as Jesus said, turn the other cheek and give your undivided attention to what you want, to who this being really is, then you would come into full alignment. You would come into the alignment with the energy that creates worlds, and you would be a powerful influence to affect a healing with that person. You would. But if you do like most people, you see this abhorrent thing, you put a new version of yourself in this vortex. You don't have the discipline to give your attention to this new and improved version, because it's just vibration. That's reality. So instead, you face reality, and now that reality hurts you more than it ever did before, because you have expanded to this new vibrational reality. So you feel greater pain than you've ever felt before as you look at this thing that is abhorrent from what you really want and who you really are. And then you condemn it and its behavior for the way you feel. And then you lock it up until eventually your prison system falls of its economic weight, because you have been trying, as we were discussing with our friend earlier, to deal with action about things that can only be dealt with vibrationally. That was good.
Thank you. Can I have one more?
There's a follow-up question within you, though, that goes something like, so I get the theory of that, and I can even apply it to my own life, but what do we do with a society that doesn't get it?
There's a we.
And we say, you have the ability to align with who you are regardless of what anybody else is doing. And if you really meant it when you said, what can I do for them? Now, was that the question? This is the thing that we want to ask you. If you really want to uplift another person, you have to see them as they really are, not as they currently are in terms of manifestation. And that takes some practice.
That's the turning.
That's what all the masters do. Right. When you sat before Jesus dripping your illness, he did not see your illness. He knew your wellness. He knew your wellness so profoundly that he aligned with the energy that creates worlds and brought about an influence of vibration in which your illness could not abide. And because of his understanding of who you really were, you could not be sick, not then, not while he was holding you in his gaze. And then he said something very wise. Go forth and tell no one. If you go talk to others about it, they will talk you back into the vibrational vantage point that disallowed the wellness to begin with. Yeah. And he told person after person after person, it is your faith that makes you whole. It is not the power. It is not me connecting with source and spraying it all over you. It is me knowing who you are, holding the vibration of that with such a powerful focus that if you are reaching for it with any effort at all, there is a place marker here that will make it easier for you to find it this time than you've ever found it before. You cannot condemn people back into the vortex. You cannot punish them back in. You cannot execute them. Oh, wait, you can. You can execute. You can. You can death penalty them back into the vortex. You can. But the way you get them back into the vortex while they are still in their physical body, you love them in. You understand them in. You know them in. You know who they really are. You give them a break. You give them some ease. You give them some of the respect that they've been looking for. Do a study. Look at the mass murders. Look at those that are bombing. Every single time, every single one of them will tell the story as the story emerges of who they were. They were mistreated as children. They were unliked by their peers. They were mocked in the neighborhoods. In other words, they kept finding others who could only see them as they are, who could not see them in their vortex version. And an uplifter gets so good at being in the vortex that that's the only version of everything you see.